Hello, I'm Guillermo Vidal. I'm the host of this humble program about aging without fear. I'm glad you could join me today. You know, with all the talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump being too old to hold the office of president, I couldn't help but reflect on the topic of whether or not there should be an age where people should be required or made to retire. Now, most of us don't have the issue that Biden or Trump have, where millions of people will determine whether one of them is not too old to hold the office of president. For most of us, we'll get to choose that time. But a lot of people don't agree when someone of an older age, say over 65, remains by choice on the job. Is this right? Should people get to choose when they leave a job, or should society determine a time where they're forced to retire? Now, I was reading a newspaper article the other day when they broke the people who are retiring into three categories. They went like this: the clean breakers, and that is those who, want full retirement; the reinventors, and that's those that are, they want to do something part-time, maybe different than what they once did. And thirdly, the never stoppers, those who don't want to stop working. Now, I got to admit, I was one of those, and I was forced to stop working by happenstance. But I think it's a pretty good breakdown of these choices that you start thinking about when you reach your 50s. And I think it's a healthy thing to evaluate your career and to determine whether you want to continue into the future or not. Now, taking aside the financial reasons why companies might want to keep older workers or not, I want to concentrate my remarks on the personal choice to retire. And then let's also remove from this conversations about whether or not you might need to keep working long after 65 because financially you simply cannot afford to quit. I want to center my comments on your freedom to choose. Now, living your best life and aging fearlessly is all about doing what burns inside you. And I belong to the school of thought that no one should determine for any individual whether or not they should stop doing what they love. And that could be their career. Now, I can accept the argument that there should be a certain age before you can collect benefits like Social Security. Makes sense. Tax funded. You can't just allow people to dig in there all the time. And I also think it's fair for government to recast that a minimum age of society changes. The same argument could be made for businesses who believe that it's better for them to restrict the age that people can stay in the particular jobs. Like you see this in trucking companies restricting the age you can be to be a truck driver, or airlines restricting the age that a person can be a pilot. But barring all those limits, I just don't think there should be a limit on how long you want to work. If you feel productive and you love what you're doing, nothing could be more filling to your emotional and spiritual well-being than that. Work brings you challenges, adventures, and frankly, most of our social connections are with the people that are there sharing this journey with you. Now, these are things that are always recommended for seniors, so if work allows it for you, then do it. Now, work situations also provide that you keep doing something you love. The happiest people I know in retirement are those who still have a function that gives them purpose. When you're young, you think being a clean breaker and going into full retirement is some kind of panacea that will make you live happily ever after. But there's only so many rounds of golf or sea cruises one can take before you start longing for something more in your life. Now, I have found that the reinventors and the never stoppers, those two categories, they seem to be the happiest that I've seen in their golden years. And this is because they find fulfillment in doing something that they determine helps create a greater good. It also gives their life a beneficial structure that helps them thrive. And it gives them and preserves for them a cadre of friends and colleagues. So the lesson here is the only one, let alone, I wanted to tell you. And that is that you're not too old to be doing certain things. As long as you don't allow yourself to feel old, feeble, or frail, there's nothing stopping you from successfully accomplishing anything you set your mind and body to do. For I know this is how you become aligned with your higher self. Retirement, as defined by American culture, is a choice. It's not a need. Your soul can soar at any age. So if you love what you're doing, stick with it. Stick with it for as long as you want. You'll change your mind later, I'm sure. But until then, enjoy yourself. Do what fulfills you. See you soon.